skills.
Just take us through your journey. Who is Attila Korosi and how did you get here?
Well, my journey started about 30 years ago. I was born in a country called Yugoslavia, and the first 4 years of my life were actually pretty good. My dad had a VHS business and he was very much into art. And as a result, he made me watch all the Luis Buñuel movies, all the Akira Kurosawa movies. And like it's a high classics. And when you watch those movies and you're 4 years old, you have no idea what's going on. But somehow, I was really attracted to it and it really got into my subconsciousness. Like I felt that emotion,
Yeah.
And I was watching everything I was consuming. So the first 4 or 5 years of my life were really good. And then out of nowhere, like a great long-lasting war struck my country. So pretty much since I was 4 until like my teenage years, I grew up in a war and in a war-torn country. I really found salvation in watching movies as I was growing up, And when I was in my late teenage years, that is when I realized that this is my calling. I want to make movies. So I was so excited about this newly found vision, not newly found vision because I was always influenced by movies, but like it was like so crystal clear in my mind that one day I declared to my parents, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna make movies. And they look at me and they was like, what you talking about, son? Why don't you be a doctor or a police officer or whatever? But don't talk about filmmaking, it's crazy.
Sure.
And it was really surprising for me because, anytime I speak about I want to be a movie maker back home, people looked at me and they responded as if I said I want to be an astronaut and fly to Mars. It's impossible. Everybody assured me, even my parents. And now I understand the reason why, because the war and the mindset they had during the war is people just want to survive.
It's a practical mindset.
It's a very practical mindset for them, So that is after conversing with my parents and with people, I understood for me to become a filmmaker and really pursue my dream on the grander scale, I really have to find a way how to go to America. America where people still believe in dreams. People are not afraid to dream here. Very easy for me to believe, not to lose hope, because when you grow up in war, you tend to get used to these insurmountable obstacles, like impossible means nothing to you, So I was researching, what can I do? And then once I learned that US universities are offering full scholarships for prospective student athletes. And that was my idea. For me to become a filmmaker, I have to become an athlete first. So I was thinking what kind of sport can I do? And after thinking a little bit, I understood that running, I'm gonna be a runner because you don't need any kind of fancy equipment. You don't need coaches or crazy nutrition or whatever. As long as you're crazy enough, you can just go out and run around the forest or around the block,
It's a sheer willpower.
Exactly, sheer willpower and dedication. But it's very interesting because when I set my mind that I want to be a runner, I don't like running, but you see, I understood that's my ticket to America, that's my ticket to making films. I approached my running years as if my life depends on this. It's not like I like it, I don't like it, or it's snowy, or it's 100 degrees outside. It doesn't matter. If I want to get to a certain level in my life, which I set out myself at the time, I don't care if it's 110 degrees. I don't care if it's 10 degrees and snowing or rain or windy. I don't care if nobody's out there with me, no coach. I don't care. I'm going to do it and do it and do it. And as simple as that. It's as simple as that. When I got into running, I started learning about who are the best runners in the world, who are the fastest runners in like Michael Johnson, or Jeremy Warner. I look into their files because they were both Olympic champions in my distance. So I figured they both went to the university called Baylor in Texas, Baylor University, Waco, Texas. So, I don't have internet, so I go on an internet cafe and I find the coach's email and I read and I write him a very poorly constructed email on English that I never expected a response from. I told him who I am, this and that, the time I ran on 400-meter dash.
Right.
And he responded to me, and I have this email with me right now. He responded.
It's amazing.
And he said, I think you have a potential. I think you ran pretty fast times, considering you've been just running for 6 or 7 months. And we would like to have you here in Baylor, but we just don't have enough scholarship for this year anymore. So if you want to wait another year, we can put you in a full ride. But like my desire was such that I don't really want to spend much time at home. I really want to get out. So it's very important for me to get a full scholarship and to get to America as soon as possible. And when I told him this, his answer was like, well, unfortunately, we cannot have you here then if you cannot wait another year. But if you would like us, I can put you in touch with another universities in America who are having the same running program or we have connections to, like affiliated with.
Sure.
And this was really out of blue when a coach from the University of Tulsa, it's a school in Oklahoma, Division I school in Oklahoma, they reached the Golden Hurricanes. He reached out to me, and I was like so surprised. And he was like ready to offer me full scholarship. He just said, I talked with the head coach of Baylor. He told me to give you a full ride. Simple as that. That was it. I have the email. It's crazy. And I had lots of headwind when I was a runner. Like I had lots of obstacles to conquer. It was like those 12 months I dedicated to running back home. It was an emotional roller coaster for me. I lost my mom out of nowhere. I remember my most important race. That was the decisive race, whether I'm going to get a scholarship or not. And 2 weeks before that race, I was doing jumps in a workout, and I completely twisted my ligaments on my left ankle. And I was devastated. I remember, the doctor came over. I took a look at my ankle, touched it, inspected it, whatnot. And I tell him, doctor, you have to fix me. I have 2 weeks to run. And he looks at me and says, 2 weeks. He says, if you're able to run if you're able to walk within the next 2 months, you should consider yourself lucky. That's what he told me. And it was a punch to my heart, But I remember this is the same thing when people told me I cannot go to America. So the same thing, instead of listening to the doctor, I didn't trust what he said. I didn't believe a single word he said. I went home that night, and as I said to you earlier, I elevated my leg in 90 degrees and I pressed my ankle. I pressed my feet, and I was talking to my ankle. I wanted to become a friend with my ankle. I wanted to convince my ankle, that we can do it. Like, come on, we invested so many months to this opportunity. It's not going to come again. And these people are watching at me right now. So, 2-3 days later, I start jogging. It's painful. I can jog like 2-3 minutes. Then I go home and ice it. I massage it. Like I put lotion on it. Again, I talk to the ankle. I don't sleep. I talk to the ankle. And then, believe it or not, and again, I have this visually documented, I ran 2 weeks later. I remember it was January 27th of 2005 or 2006. 2 weeks later I ran and I won that race. It was an indoor race, but I ran and I ran a personal record. I graduated from school. I graduated as one of the top of my class, bachelor's in accounting and economics, but I didn't come to America to be an accountant and to work in office. But I was like, I didn't come here to do that. I came here to do movies. And then I was like, that's just like that. One day after my graduation, I graduated May 11th, 2011, and May 12th I was in LA. I just came to LA the next day. And I didn't know anybody in LA. Like I find a girl, still I was in Tulsa, I find a girl on Craigslist, and I was like, she was looking for a roommate in Hollywood. I was like, I would like to move in with you. So she was like, okay, I can reserve you the apartment. It's one thing when I told back home to people that I want to make movies and they didn't believe it. They didn't believe it's possible. But I was really surprised because when I came to LA and I said to people, I want to make a movie, let's make a movie, guys. Everybody was excited. I was like, let's do it, it's a good idea. But then the next day they came back to me and they asked me, well, how much money do you have? Who's your father? What kind of connections do you have? And when I said I don't have any of those, I just came to LA and nobody. They were like, forget it, don't even bother, you're not going to make a movie. Because some people I remember some people went even as far as stating that making a movie, it's like one of the hardest and toughest things to do, Like they tell me sometimes even people like Brad Pitt can't make their own movie the way they want to because like so much things going on into making a single movie. It was surprising because I always thought in America people love to dream big and they execute on their dreams. But I was a little bit surprised, I have to tell you that, And I noticed that everybody in Starbucks or everybody, people write on their screenplays, people talk big, people talk they know everybody, people talk they're so driven and so hardworking. and people talk like they know they have connections everywhere. But at the end of the day, when it's time to execute, when it's time to show that actually what you have and what you know and what you can do, unfortunately, maybe I just had bad luck, but most of the people I came across, they don't do nothing, they just talk. And this was a very big and great learning experience for me. Yeah. And that is when I decided, you know, Tori, I don't want to be one of those people who talk. I don't. So I went to Best Buy, I bought a camera for like $150 and I made the whole movie. That's it, I made the whole movie. I filmed it, it was very primitive movie making, but then I never made a movie before. And I wanted to edit it, but I didn't know how to edit. So I taught myself how to edit. I taught myself how to do sound design, how to do everything. And it took me some time, you know, it took me several months, but I finished the movie. And I look at the movie and that I assembled, and I'm so happy. I was like, wow, this looks great. This is a great movie. I love it. I was like, wow, people are gonna be blown away, but I don't want to show it to anybody. So I watched the movie again. I watched the movie the next day. For 1 week, I watched the movie every single day. After 1 week, I look at the movie that I created and I say to myself, this is a garbage. This is so bad. I cannot show this to anybody, you know? But I learned so much from it.
Just since you have such an inspiring story, what are 3 key pieces of advice you would give other people who currently have like a big dream and haven't gotten there yet or haven't started tackling it? Like, what would your 3 like keys be to getting on that journey?
Reasons beyond understanding. I was born in a war. I'm gonna turn that into my biggest advantage. You know, I learned that everything in life is about perspectives. If war was given to me, cool, I'll make the best out of it. You know, so I learned that like really like the human mind, that each one of our brain is built to do wonders. Everything else is just an excuse, if you think about it. Number 1 thing I think is a vision. You have to have a clear vision. If I don't have a clear vision that I want to make a movie or what kind of movie I want to make, I'm not going to have the power to learn, to run with torn ligaments. I'm not going to have the courage to go in that neighborhood. I'm not going to have the courage to come to America by myself with no English. So vision is what helped me a lot. Vision. Yeah. The second thing I would say is self-expression. Like, know what you want to do, but it's not enough to know what you want to do. Know it in as much details as possible, because the deeper you can dig down, deep in your soul, and figure out who you are as a person, what are your strengths, what are your disadvantages, weaknesses, everything. The more you know about it, the more when you communicate to another person, they're gonna see you more clearer who are you as a person. So sometimes the words, they are not important, but they see you. As I said earlier, sometimes these people don't understand what I'm saying, but they see the energy and they wanna be part of it. And as for the third thing, I would say, just keep going, you know, just don't give up. You can't give up. And I know it sounds very easy and cheesy and everything, you know, everybody says don't give up. And everybody says, you know, I'm never gonna give up. It sounds so easy, but it's so hard to do. You know? Yeah. So have a vision, number 1, know who you are, number 2, and just keep going. Just keep going, because life is so short. You know, you're gonna be like 50, 60 years old, and you don't wanna be one of those people like you're 60 years old and then you're regretting all your missed opportunities. You know, just keep going.